What if the loudest person in the room grabbed the wrong rifle? Not just wrong as in not his, wrong as in touch that again, and you're about to learn the weight of your own ego. That's how it started at Forward Operating Base Kestrel, Wardak Province. Dust in the air, diesel in your lungs, maps taped to plywood, and Staff Sergeant Nika, Rook Kade, 29, 5 feet 7 inches, all tendon and focus, cleaning her MRAD like a jeweler, gentle, exact, obsessive. Then in strolls Rear Admiral Roland Langley. 3 stars, polished words, softer hands than anyone who lives behind glass. He spots the rifle, smirks, and says, "Cute. Whose toy is this?" Everybody went quiet. You know, the kind of silence that has weight. Yeah, like that. Before we dive in, if you've ever been underestimated, if someone's ever told you stay in your lane, this one's for you. And wait till you hear how it ends. It's wilder than the beginning. FOB Kestrel was packed. SEAL Team 7 operators, 2nd Battalion Rangers, a handful from 10th Group, and Rook, the only designated marksman on the joint roster. Intel had pinged. High-value conclave, rumored 12 clicks east, tight time window, lots of eyes, traps everywhere. The plan needed surgical overwatch or the whole thing would blow. SEAL Chief Ortega briefed angles, ingress, egress. Ranger Master Sergeant Bishop covered comm windows. The air hummed with "Don't mess this up." In walks Langley, entourage trailing ribbons like holiday garland. He'd insisted on attending a tactical brief to stay close to the fight. Translation, he wanted a show. He clocked Rook's MRAD, .338 lap you a barrel on for the altitude. Prop muzzle down, bolt out, magazine staged. She kept wiping the crown. Tiny circles. Calm. He leaned over her like a storm cloud and asked, "You even know what this does, Sergeant?" Head snapped. Ortega took a breath. Bishop half rose. Rook didn't. She capped the oil. Set the brush aside. "Sir, this rifle keeps people alive." Quick rewind. Nika didn't learn to shoot from ranges with snack bars. She learned on dark Montana mornings with her Aunt Alona, a former biathlete who could read wind off a fence wire. "Watch the grass," Alona would say. The grass talks. At 12, Rook could ding bottle caps at 200 yards. At 16, she beat 3 grown men at a county shoot, then handed them their pride back with a smile. Army at 18. Expert on every qual. Fort Moore, yeah, the one you know, almost broke her. Not her body, her patience. Every calculation checked twice because, "You sure about that, Kate?" Every cold bore shot scrutinized like a crime scene. She graduated top of class anyway. Iraq. She stopped an ambush through a sand haze that swallowed radio calls. Credit went to timely suppression. Classic. Afghanistan. She waited out a frozen night to stop a triggerman mid-exhale. The report called it favorable conditions. Sure. Favorable if you define frostbite as cozy. Back to Kestrel. The brief room felt too small for all the rank and all the ego. Langley cleared his throat like a foghorn. "I've shot competitively since Annapolis," he announced. "Precision is precision. We'll have my staff lieutenant handle overwatch. We need confidence under pressure, not optics." You felt the temperature drop. Rook stood, calm as winter steel. SEAL Chief Ortega tried diplomacy. "Sir, Rook has the longest confirmed engagement in theater this year. Wind calls like a metronome." Langley waved him off, eyes never leaving the rifle. "Sergeant, hand it over. I'll see if it's even maintained." He reached for the barrel. Oh boy, if you've ever been around actual shooters, you know, you don't touch another person's rifle without asking. It's like grabbing someone's parachute mid-jump. Rook's fingertips slid and pinned his wrist. Not a fight, just a fact. "Sir, please don't." He tugged anyway. Everything that happened next lasted 3 seconds and felt like 30. Rook rolled her hips, redirected the muzzle safely to deck. Clean, controlled, and guided the Admiral's wrist into a compliance lock you learn after enough hours of combatives classes and sore elbows. No drama, no flicks, just gravity and anatomy. Langley's face flashed. Pain, shock, humiliation. Then the door slammed open. Intel Specialist Norris sprinted in. 6 HVTs, confirmed. moving to the Asman Narrows. For hours, the room changed shape. Mission math replaced egos. Langley, still cradling his hand, tried to recover the narrative. My lieutenant can do it. He pointed to a kid with range day confidence and no combat glass in his eyes. Bishop's jaw tightened. Ortega said, "Low, sir, those windows are narrow. Crosswinds in the Narrows shear at 12 to 18. You miss once, the valley lights up." Langley looked back at Rook like a dare. She met his eyes. "Give me your 6 hardest shots right now. Any ranges, any angles. If I miss one, I'll accept whatever punishment you want. But if I make them all, I run overwatch, no interference." You could hear a battery cap drop. He nodded. Word spread like jet fuel. By the time they hit the back range, 40 pairs of boots lined the berm. Targets went up. 700, 950, 1,150, 1,350, 1,620, and, because ego never sleeps, 1,980 meters. Not impossible with .338 Lapua at altitude, but cruel in the afternoon thermals. Rook swapped in a dope card scribbled with coffee stains. Checked torque, ran a dry cycle on the bolt. Then she did something weird. She asked for a red shop rag and a strip of duct tape. She taped the rag to an old antenna 30 meters left of the 1,350 plate, then another at 1,980. "Wind language," she said. "The grass talks. Rag shout." The crowd half smiled. She looked through glass, breathed once, twice. "On my break," she told Ortega. "Calls will be out loud. That's confidence. That's receipts. 700. 1.2 mils up. .4 right. Send. Cold bore crack. Stille hung." She didn't even smile. 950. 3.1 up. Mirage says quarter value right. Send. Crack. Ring. Auguste tried to steal her third shot before it was born. Rook waited it out like a fisherman reading water. 1150. For .9 up. Half value left. No quarter. Spindrift correction. .1 right. Send. Crack. Silence. Then the distant tang skittered back like a late text. Someone exhaled to swear. The lieutenant who'd been volunteered by the admiral suddenly found his boots very interesting. Rook rotated her shoulders. The range was breathing now, Mirage wiggling, rags twitching. 1350. 6.4 up. 1.1 left. Hold 3/4 wind for the lull. Crack. Steel. 1620. 8.4 up. 1.5 left. Watch the eddy behind that rock there. Crack. 2.5 seconds later. A bell where no church stood. All eyes on the last plate at 1,980. Thermals dancing. Time stretching. Rook closed her eyes, once like she was listening for a train on rails. 10.9 up. 2.1 left. Coriolis a hair, right, call it 10th. Send on the fade. The shot broke like a whispered secret. 3 seconds of nothing. Then the far plate answered, deep and honest. Nobody cheered at first. They just stood there, realizing they'd run out of doubts. Langley's mouth worked, then stopped. He straightened, switched hands like the injured one belonged to someone else, and, left-handed, saluted. Not required. Not expected. It mattered. Apology made, not begged. "Sergeant Kade," the admiral said, throat thick, "Overwatch is yours. What do you need?" Glass for Southeast Ridge, a secondary hide on the Mule Trail, a spotter who doesn't narrate fear, and 2 extra batteries because our luck is allergic to power. They moved like a pit crew. Ortega assigned Petty Officer Vega to spot. Bishop wrangled the Ridge team, nor updated target routes. 6 HVTs converging in the Narrows, ringed by sentries on terraces like a snake's ribs. Thermal signatures popped and vanished. Radio discipline went from fine to monastic. Rook checked firing solutions for the Narrows wind tunnel. She drew little arrows on her card, not because she needed them, but because it calmed the part of her brain that always asked, "What did we miss?" She looked at Vega. "You call wind. I call brakes. If I say freeze, you become a statue." Vega grinned. "I only move when gravity insists." Evening swallowed the mountains in slow bites. Rook and Vega crawled into the primary hide, a splotch of shadow that smelled like old dirt and older secrets. She settled the bipod, nestled the butt, dialed 9 mils to start, and watched ants perform logistics at her elbow. Rook's heartbeat felt like a metronome. It's weird what you think about before things get loud. Whether the coffee was worth it. Whether Alona is somewhere, hands on hips, mouthing, watch the grass. Vega whispered, "You okay?" "Always. You want a mint?" "Why do you even have mints?" "Morale." A flicker, 2 sentries rotated at 900 meters. Lazy arcs, heads on a swivel only when someone else was watching. The Narrows funneled wind like a stadium. Rook's rags, yeah, she packed miniature ones, twitched along scrub. "Wait until you hear how this ends," she whispered, mostly to herself. "It's crazier than the beginning." Target 1. Terrace 2, 900 Vega breathed. Wind quarter left. 0.9 up from dialed. 2 tenths left. On my break. Crack. Body folded like a shadow, learning it was attached to a person. No one noticed. Yet. Target 2, 1100 backlit. 3.2 from dialed. Mirage lies. Hold right a tenth. Crack. The figure pinwheeled silently into gravel. Far below, the meeting flowed like ritual. Men with radios. Men who believed distance meant safety. Target 3, 1350 inside the slit window. 6.1 up. Full value left 1.2. When the wind lulls, the opening widens visually. Watch. A breath. A traffic light inside a stone mouth. Crack. The round threaded a gap the width of a paperback spine. Target 4, flanker, closing on patrol route. Hold under a tenth for the downhill. Send. Crack. Rook's hand stayed steady. Her mind got quiet. This is what the doubters never understand. Precision isn't chest thumping. It's silence in motion. Komm spike, nor warned overnet. Unscheduled patrol sweeping high route. That route crest lines above the Narrows. If they spotted Rook's hide, game over. Vega's breath hitched. 2 tangos, 700, wrong place. Rook could relocate. Or she could end it now and pray the noise folded into the valley's constant sigh. She counted heartbeats. 3, 2, 1, 700. 0.8 up. Half value right. On their step, not their stop. 2 silhouettes overlapped for the barest blink. Crack, crack, near double. 2 thuds. Silence held. The patrol below kept moving, oblivious. Rook exhaled the breath she'd borrowed. Nor, HVTs are committing. 2 security elements peel off, in now. Copy, Rook said. Calm. We're clearing the ribs of the snake. The Narrows boiled with eddies. The last security node set up inside a doorway, barely wider than a helmet. Distance, 1,920 meters. Angle, ugly. Vegas swallowed. We can wait for a better posture. Or we can make the one we have perfect, Rook said. She dialed. Undialed. Split the difference. Wrote a tiny +C for Coriolis, because tradition. 10.7 up. 1.9 left. Spin drift a tenth right. We send on generator hum. Below, a diesel generator coughed and settled into rhythm. Were thunk were. Sound mass sound. Old trick. On the thunk, Rook whispered. Thunk. Crack. 3 seconds of your entire career walking a tightrope. The doorway spat dust. Then a figure disappeared like a thought mid-sentence. Node clear, Vegas said, voice cracking into a grin. Ah, wow. Rook let herself smile, just once. Keep your glass honest. The raid team flowed in on perfect timing, like they'd been poured down the rock face. 6 HVEs cuffed and bagged, laptops scooped, radios silenced, traps bypassed. Not one friendly casualty. The valley, for once, gave more secrets than blood. Back at Kestrel, Langley waited by the TOC like a man who'd found religion in the 10 minutes between I've got this and I do not in fact got this. He stepped forward, left hand again, and said, Sergeant Kade, I misjudged you. Rook nodded. You misjudged the job, sir. I'm just its employee. He managed half a laugh. I deserve that. Then, louder, to the room. Effective immediately, we're instituting skill-based quals across joint billets. No substitutions. No shortcuts. Weeks later, an official letter. Recommendation for the Silver Star. Not for the demonstration. Nobody cares about punching steel when the world isn't watching, but for the work that let people go home. 3 months after that, orders. Instructor, Special Operations Precision School. First woman to lead the advanced glass and wind block. On graduation day, Anna Lona stood in the back in a red scarf that looked suspiciously like an old shop rag. She didn't cry. She inspected. Then she hugged Nika hard enough to imprint bone. They offered to mount the 1,980-meter plate in a hallway like a trophy. Rook said no. She kept a smaller thing, the duct-taped rag, washed and folded into her field notebook, a reminder that wind speaks in 1,000 dialects, and pride is the worst interpreter. When new shooters asked how to handle doubters, she'd grin. We don't fight them. We outlast them. We make the work undeniable. One kid raised a hand. Sergeant, were you scared? Of missing? Always, she said. That's why we learn. Of people? Nah, people are just wind. You read them, then you send. If this story hit you anywhere soft, if you've ever had to prove what you already knew, tap that like button so more folks find it. Drop a comment. What was your hand off my rifle moment? And if you want more true-to-life, edge-of-your-seat operations with a human heartbeat, subscribe. I've got a dozen more stories locked and loaded. And trust me, the next one starts with an even bigger mistake.